Hello students, today we will discuss numericals based on capacitor. So let's start it. Question number 1 is very easy. It says that for each circuit, are the capacitors connected in series, in parallel or in neither mode? Simply we have to answer that what type of combination of capacitors they have. Okay, in first circuit diagram, we can easily see that this capacitor and this capacitor, they have which type of combination? They have series combination. Actually, if we talk about the potential across these two capacitors, it is easily visible that it will have different potential and it will also have different potential. Okay, so they have which type of combination? They have series combination. And instead of drawing these capacitors, if we will draw them here, then it will be easily visible that what type of combination they have series combination. Now in second circuit diagram, we can easily see that this capacitor is connected here and this capacitor is connected here across these 2 points. It means they have same potential, and if they have same potential, it means we can say that they have what type of combination? They have parallel combination. Now if we talk about the third circuit diagram, this capacitor is connected across these 2 points and this capacitor is also connected across these 2 points. So again, what type of combination they have? They too have which type of combination? Parallel combination. So I think the question is clear and the question was very easy. Okay, second question is, in figure A, this figure, our capacitors C1 and C3 are in series. So the answer will be no. We can easily see that this is C1 and this is C3. So they are not connected in series, they are connected in parallel. In the same figure, our capacitors C1 and C2 are in parallel. Yes, they are in parallel. So the answer will be yes. So the A part, the answer will be no, and the B part, the answer will be yes. C part says that rank the equivalent capacitance of the 4 circuits shown in figure 26 to 21 greatest first. So simply we have to calculate the equivalent capacitance of each circuit diagram and then we have to rank them, like which one is first, which one is second. That's it. Okay, so first we will talk about this particular figure. Now in this circuit diagram, we can easily see that C1 and C2, they are parallel to each other. So first what we will do, we will calculate the equivalent capacitance of these two capacitors. Okay, and as they are connected in parallel, we know this thing how to calculate equivalent capacitance when it's about parallel combination. We simply add them. So let me show you, just 1 second. So C1 and C2, they are connected in parallel. So their equivalent capacitance, let it be Cp. So it will be C1 plus C2. I think this is clear. Now C3. The C3 will be in series with the Cp. Okay. Now we know this thing that how to calculate the equivalent capacitance. 1 second. For series combination, 1 upon Cs is equals to 1 upon Cp plus 1 upon C3. As C3 is in series with Cp, so that's why the equivalent capacitance, that is Cs, will be 1 upon Cs is equals to 1 upon Cp plus 1 upon C3. Now in place of Cp, we can easily substitute what? C1 plus C2. So it will give you 1 upon C1 plus C2 plus 1 upon C3. So when you will solve it, when you will take out the LCM, finally what you will have? You will have C1 plus C2 into C3. The LCM will be this. Here you will have C3 plus C1 plus C2. So this is what? This is 1 upon Cs. Okay. So what will be Cs? Cs will be C1 plus C2 into C3 upon C1 plus C2 plus C3. So I think this thing is clear, and this thing, it is written directly over here. So I think now it is understood that what will be the equivalent capacitance of all these 3 capacitors. It will be C1 plus C2 into C3 upon C1 plus C2 plus C3. So I think this thing is clear. Fine. 1C. So this is the equivalent capacitance for the first circuit diagram. Now again we have to calculate the same thing in second circuit diagram. Now in second circuit diagram, let's talk about the combination. So again you can clearly see over here that C1 and C2, they are having which type of combination? Parallel combination. So again, what will be their equivalent capacitance? It will be C1 plus C2. Now the C1 plus C2 is connected in series with C3. So again you will calculate the equivalent capacitance and you will follow the same method which we did in the first circuit diagram. So what will be the equivalent capacitance? The equivalent capacitance will be this only. Okay, so the equivalent capacitance for the second circuit diagram will be same as A. Now if I talk about the third circuit diagram, here also you can easily see that C1 and C2, they are in parallel with each other. Okay, and they are in parallel with each other. Again you will calculate what? The equivalent capacitance. It will be equals to C1 plus C2. Now the C1 plus C2 will be in series with this C3. Again you will calculate the equivalent capacitance and it will be equals to this only. Okay, so the same equivalent capacitance you will get even for the third circuit diagram. And if I talk about the fourth circuit diagram, here also you can easily see that the C1 and C2, they are connected in parallel with each other. See, if I will draw the C2 over here and if I will draw the C1 over here, it will look exactly like this. Okay, so the thing is that different representation they have, but they are connected in the same way. So here also C1 and C2, they are in parallel with each other. Equivalent capacitance will be C1 plus C2. Now the C1 plus C2 is connected in series with C3. So again you will get the same equivalent capacitance which will be equals to C1 plus C2 into C3 upon C1 plus C2 plus C3. It means all the equivalent capacitances of all these four circuit diagrams, they are equal. Okay. So I think this question is clear. Next question is, you are to connect capacitances C1 and C2 with C1 is greater than C2. So they are talking about two capacitances and they have given one condition that this C1 is greater than C2 to a battery, first individually and then in series and then in parallel. So first we will talk about the individual capacitances, then we will talk about their series combination, and then we will talk about their parallel combination. Now what is the question? Rank those arrangements according to the amount of charge stored greatest first. So simply we have to rank them, that which one is having greater charge, which one is having less charge. So first, second, third, in that way we have to arrange them. Okay, so now the thing is that we know this thing, what is Q? Q is equals to C into V. And for same V, we can write that Q is directly proportional to C. Okay, so the thing is that to rank these arrangement according to the charge, it will be very simple if we talk about the capacitances, because from here it is clear that Q is directly proportional to C. So if we are able to rank their capacitances, it will be easy for us to rank their charges. Okay, so the thing is that if I talk about the parallel combination, if C1 and C2 will be connected in parallel, what will be the equivalent capacitance? It will be C1 plus C2, and this addition will be greater than C1 and it will be greater than C2. See, this condition is already given in the equation that C1 is greater than C2 and their addition will be greater than both these two capacitances. So finally we are here that C1 plus C2 is greater than C1 is greater than C2. Now we know this thing in series combination, we talk about the reciprocal. 1 upon Cs is equals to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2, and so your series combination will be C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. Okay, it means what? This value, this equivalent capacitance for the series combination, it will be even smaller than the least which is given in the question. See, what they are saying that C2 is smaller than C1, but the series combination of these two capacitances will again decrease the value of the equivalent capacitance. So the equivalent capacitance for the series combination, it will be even smaller than C2. It means the least capacitance you will get when they are connected in series, and the highest capacitance, the greatest value of capacitance you will get when they are connected in parallel. So what will be the order? The order will be like this, that the capacitance for parallel combination will be greatest, then C1 will come, then C2 will come, and the capacitance for the series combination will be least. So this will be the order. So this is the arrangement which is written in decreasing order. Okay, so I think the question is clear. So we can say that charge for parallel combination will be greatest and charge for series combination will be least, because we know this thing, charge is directly proportional to C. Okay, and here it is written that equivalent capacitance for series combination is smaller than either C1, C2. It will give you the least value. So that only is happening in series combination. Okay, so I think the question is clear. Next question we have, the capacitor in this diagram has a capacitance of 25 microfarad. So C is given, that is 25 microfarad. Micro means 10 to the power minus 6 and is initially uncharged. Okay. The battery provides a potential difference of 120 volt. So the value of V is given, that is 120 volt. After switch S is closed, how much charge will pass through it? So simply we have to calculate what Q. Now we know this thing, Q is equals to CV. We know this relation. And where C is given to us and V is also given to us, so we can easily calculate Q. So in place of C, what we will write, 25 into 10 to the power minus 6, and in place of V, what we will write, 120. So when we will solve it, the finally your answer will be Q is equals to 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 coulomb. So that was an easy question. I think it is clear. Next question we have, a parallel plate capacitor has circular plate of 8.2 centimeter radius. So they are talking about a parallel plate capacitor, and the plates are circular in shape. So the radius of the circular plate is given, that is how much, 8.2 centimeter in radius. Okay, and 1.3 millimeter separation. It means what is the value of D? D is 1.3 millimeter. Okay, fine. R is equals to 8.2 centimeter. We have to convert into meter. So we'll have this 8.2 into 10 to the power minus 2. And this is in millimeter. Again, we have to convert into meter. So it will be 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Okay, so this is simple conversion of the units. Now what they're asking us to calculate the capacitance. Okay, as it is a parallel plate capacitor, we know this thing, that what is the expression for C for parallel plate capacitor? It is epsilon naught A upon D. Okay, so now we know this thing, what is the value of epsilon naught? It is 8.85 into 10 to the power minus 12. Now what will be the area of these plates? Pi r square, as they are circular in shape. So in place of A, what we will write, pi r square, and what is R? R is this much. And D, what is the separation between them? It is also given in the equation. It is 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. So when we will solve it, finally what will be the answer? 1.44 into 10 to the power minus 10 farad. And if you want to convert into picofarad, it will be 144 picofarad. And further also you can do the conversion if you want the answer in microfarad. So it will be like this. Okay, so I think this thing is clear. So, and now what is the second part of the equation? What charge will appear on the plates if a potential difference of 120 volt is applied? Actually this type of question we did in the previous question. Okay, the question was same only. So they want us to calculate what Q. Now what is Q? Q is equals to C into V. C we have calculated, V is given in the equation. So this part you will do. So simply you have to multiply C and V with each other. So this will gives you what? The charge. So I think the question is clear. Let's move on to the next question. Next question is, a spherical drop of mercury of radius r. So they are talking about a spherical drop whose radius is r, capital R, and it has a capacitance of C is equals to 4 pi epsilon naught r. We know this thing, that for a spherical body, what is the capacitance? What is the expression? It is C is equals to 4 pi epsilon naught r. If two such drops combine to form a single larger drop, what is its capacitance? So now what they are saying, that if two such drops, if they are combined together, you will have one single large drop. Then what will be the capacitance of the new larger drop? And the capacitance for the one spherical drop is already given. Now we know this thing, the new drop will have the volume twice the volume of the previous one, the old sphere. Okay, now we know this thing. So from here only we will start solving the question, that the new drop, the volume of the new drop will be twice of the volume of the one spherical body. Okay, now we know this thing, as they are talking about a sphere, what will be the volume of the sphere? We know the formula, 4 upon 3 pi r cube. Then what will be the volume of the new drop? It will be 4 upon 3 pi r dash cube. What we have considered, let r dash be the volume of the larger drop which we will get after combining two such drops. Okay, so this is the volume of the one drop. This is the volume of the two spherical drops when they're combined together. Okay, now if we will take out the ratio of these two, V dash upon V, it will gives you 2, because we have already written over here that the new drop will be twice of the volume of the one spherical drop. Okay, so V dash upon V is equals to 2. Now in place of V dash we can write 4 by 3 pi r dash cube, and in place of V what we can write 4 pi by 3 r cube. Now this 4 pi by 3 will get cancelled. So finally what we will have, r dash cube upon r cube. Okay, now this if we want to write it in terms of r dash, it will be r dash cube is equals to 2r cube. Now if we want to remove this cube root will be here. So this 2 will become 2 to the power 1 upon 3, and r cube will become what, r. So this is the new radius of a larger drop, r dash. So we have calculated what r dash, and what they want us to calculate, the capacitance. So we know the formula, that what is the formula for the capacitance for a spherical body. It is 4 pi epsilon naught r. So for the new larger drop, the capacitance will be C dash is equals to 4 pi epsilon naught r dash. And what is r dash? 2 to the power 1 by 3 r. So in place of r dash, what we will substitute, 2 to the power 1 by 3 r. And when we will solve it, when we will multiply 4 by 2 to the power 1 by 3, we'll have this. So what is the capacitance? It will be C dash is equals to 5.04 pi epsilon naught r. Now if we divide these two, if we divide C dash by C, what we will get? C dash upon C. So this okay, fine, you just look here. Let's not talk about this, let's talk about the previous step. So if you divide C by C dash, this 4 pi epsilon naught and this 4 pi epsilon naught, r and r will get cancelled. So finally what will be left? It will be 2 to the power 1 by 3. So the new capacitance will be 2 to the power 1 by 3 times the capacitance of one spherical drop. So I think this question is also clear. Next question is, find the equivalent capacitance of the combination. Now I think things are clear. We can easily see that C1 and C2, they are having which type of combination? They are having series combination. So first we will calculate the equivalent capacitance of these two. Okay, now this equivalent capacitance will be in parallel with this C3. So now we again know that how to calculate the equivalent capacitance for parallel combination. So that we will do. Okay, now I have not read the complete question. So first part is what? That find the equivalent capacitance of the combination. Assume that C1 is 10 microfarad. Okay, values also they have given. C1 is 10 microfarad. C2 is 5 microfarad and C3 is 4 microfarad, and we have to calculate the equivalent capacitance. So the question is very easy. C1 and C2, they are having series combination. So first we will calculate their equivalent capacitance. So their equivalent capacitance that will be 1 upon C series is equals to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. So when we will solve them, it will be C1 C2 upon C1 plus C2. In place of C1 we will write 10, in place of C2 we will write 5. So it will be like this, and when we will solve it, it will gives you how much? 3.33 microfarad. Okay, now this equivalent capacitance, this 3.3 microfarad, it is in parallel combination with C3. Now we have to calculate the equivalent capacitance of these two. We know this thing for parallel combination. How we can calculate equivalent capacitance? Simply by adding them. So what will be the equivalent capacitance? It will be C series plus C3. C series we have already calculated. It is equals to 3.33 microfarad, and C3 is how much? It is given 4 microfarad in the question. So when we will solve it, it will be 7.33 microfarad. So in this way we can easily calculate the equivalent capacitance of the given circuit diagram. So I think this question is also clear. Next question we have, how many 1 microfarad of capacitors must be connected in parallel to store a charge of 1 coulomb with a potential of 110 volt across the capacitor? Actually what is given? Charge is given and V is given. That is, Q is given and V is given. And you just try to think that if Q and V is given, we can easily calculate the equivalent capacitance. Okay, so equivalent capacitance can be calculated by dividing Q and V. What is Q? It is 1 coulomb. What is V? It is 110. When we will divide them, the answer will be 9.09 into 10 to the power minus 3 farad. Now what they are saying, if this is the equivalent capacitance and if we want to connect the capacitors whose capacitance is how much, 1 microfarad, then how many we have to connect them in parallel so that the equivalent capacitance comes out to be like this. So I think the question is clear. How you can calculate the number of capacitors? Number of capacitors could be calculated by the total capacitance divided by the capacitance of one capacitor. In this way we can calculate the value of N. So that's why N will be equals to equivalency upon the capacitance of one capacitor. It means we're supposed to divide 9.09 into 10 to the power minus 3 upon 1 microfarad. Okay, so when you will do that, it will be 9091. So this many capacitors we are supposed to connect in parallel. Then only the equivalent capacitance will comes out like this. So I think the question is clear. Next question is, in this figure, find the equivalent capacitance of the combination. Okay, and assume that again, okay, the same type of question they have given us. And C1, C2, C3 also they have given us. C1 is 10 microfarad, C2 is 5 microfarad, and C3 is 4 microfarad. And we have to calculate what the equivalent capacitance. Now here you can easily see that C1 and C2, they are in parallel with each other. Okay, so I think this is clear that why they are in parallel with each other. If I would have drawn the C2 over here, this side, then just by seeing them only you would have told me that they are connected in parallel. So simply they have changed the position. So they are having which type of combination? Parallel combination. So their equivalent capacitance will be C parallel is equals to C1 plus C2. Now this equivalent capacitance of these two capacitor, it will be in series with C3. So again we know this thing, how to calculate the equivalent capacitance for the series combination. So that only we have done over here. It will be C EQ is equals to C parallel into C3 upon C parallel plus C3. In place of C parallel, what we will write? C1 plus C2. And here also in denominator as well we will replace C parallel by C1 plus C2. So finally we'll have this. Okay, and already in question they have given us the value of C1, C2 and C3. So simply we have to substitute these values in this particular expression. So when we will solve it, it will be equals to 3.16 microfarad. So I think this is clear. Okay, next we have this question. Two capacitors of 2 and 4 microfarad capacitance. Okay. Question is, two capacitors of 2 and 4 microfarad capacitance are connected in parallel across a 300 volt potential difference. Okay, calculate the total energy stored in the capacitor. Again, a very easy question. Actually, we know this thing that energy of the capacitor is given by this expression, half CV square. Okay, so what we can do, we can first calculate the equivalent capacitance, or in this way also we can do this question. So total energy will be how much? U1 plus U2. U1 will be the energy of the first capacitor. U2 will be the energy of the second capacitor. So by adding their energies, you can easily calculate the total energy of this combination. So in place of U1, we can easily write half C1 V square. Actually, V will be same for both, because they are having which type of combination? They are having parallel combination. So in place of U1, we can write half C1 V square. In place of U2, we can write half C2 V square. Now half V square is common. So in bracket, what you will have? C1 plus C2. Okay, so half is written as it is. What is C? It is 2. What is C2? It is 4. And microfarad, that's why it is multiplied by 10 to the power minus 6. And V is given how much? 300. So in place of V square, we will write what? 300 ka square. So when we will solve it, so finally what will be the energy? The total energy will be 0.27 joule. So I think the question is clear. Okay, next question is, a parallel plate capacitor has plates of area A and separation D and is charged to a potential difference V. Okay, so these things are given. Area is A, separation is D, and potential difference is V. The charging battery is then disconnected. Okay. And the plates are pulled apart until their separation is 2D, and the separation between them is increased from D to 2D. Derive the expressions in terms of A, D and V for the new potential difference. So first we will talk about the A part, that we have to we have to derive an expression for the new potential difference. So the previous potential difference was V, so we can assume that the new potential difference is given by V dash. Okay, now we know this thing for a parallel plate capacitor. What is the expression? It is C is equals to epsilon naught A upon D. Okay, now we know this thing also, that what is Q? Q is equals to CV. Now after disconnecting the battery, this is the condition given in the question, Q will remain same. We know this thing, Q will not change. Okay, now after disconnecting the battery and after increasing the distance between them, the new capacitance is given by C dash. We will use the same formula, epsilon naught A will remain as it is, but instead of D, this time we will write 2D, because now the separation is how much? 2D. Now in place of epsilon naught A upon D, we can easily write C. So finally what we will have, C dash is equals to C upon 2. Okay, now again we will write what? Q is equals to CV we know, but this time it will be Q is equals to C dash V dash for the new capacitance and for the new potential difference. Now Q is equals to CV and Q is equals to C dash V dash. From these two, what we can write? C dash V dash is equals to CV, because Q will be same. Okay, so from here we can easily write V dash. V dash will be CV upon C dash. Okay, now what is C upon C dash? C upon C dash, or we can do one more thing, that in place of C dash, what we can write? C by 2, which we have already written. So in place of C dash, we will write C by 2. This C and C will get cancelled and this 2 will go in numerator. So finally what we will have? V dash is equals to 2 into V. It means the new potential difference will be twice of the previous potential difference if we make these kind of changes. Okay, this was the first part of the question. Second part of the question is initial and final energies, that is UI and UF. So for this also, for these energies also, we have to derive an expression. So now we know this thing, that the expression for energy is how much? Half CV square. So what will be the initial energy? If capacitance is C and potential difference is V, it will be half CV square. And final energy, after making those changes, you will have new energy or final energy. It will be given by half C dash V dash ka square. Now we know this thing, what is C dash? C dash is C by 2. And what is V dash? V dash is 2 into V. Just now we have derived. Now after solving it, what we will have? In place of half CV square, we can easily write UI. And after solving this, this 2 square will give you 4 and 4 by 2 will give you what? 2. So finally what we will have? 2 UI. It means we can say that UF is equals to 2 UI. Final energy is twice of the initial energy. Okay, I think this thing is clear. Now in place of UI, we will write half CV square. Okay, so this 2 we have written as it is. In place of UI, what we have written? Half CV square. Now the C could be replaced by epsilon naught A upon D, so that only we have done. So this D and D will get cancelled. So finally what will be the final energy? It will be UF is equals to epsilon naught A V square upon D. So I think this thing is clear. Okay, now this was the B part. C part is the work required to separate the plates. Now what will be the work required to separate the plates? It will be the difference of the two energy. It will be UF minus UI. Very simple. So UF is 2 UI minus UI. So 2 UI minus UI will gives you what? UI. Or in place of UI, we can also write half UF. And UF we have already derived, that is epsilon naught A V square upon D. So if we will substitute it over here, it will be this. So finally what we will have? The work done will be equals to half, or we can say that epsilon naught A V square upon 2D. So I think the question is clear and all the three parts are clear of this particular question. Next question is, an air-filled parallel plate capacitor has a capacitance of 1.3 picofarad. The separation of the plates is doubled and the VEX is inserted between them. The new capacitance is 2.6 picofarad. Find the dielectric constant of the VEX. See, actually they are talking about parallel plate capacitor and the capacitance is given, that is 1.3 picofarad. Now they are making few changes. What they are doing, the first change is that the separation of the plates is doubled, and the second change is that the VEX is inserted between them, and one more thing they have given, the new capacitance, that is 2.6 picofarad, the final capacitance they have given, and what they just want us to calculate, the dielectric constant of the VEX, that is K, we are supposed to calculate. Now we know this thing, that for parallel plate capacitor, the expression of C is this, epsilon naught A upon D, where A is the area of these plates and D is the separation between them. Now first we will talk about the first change. What they are saying, the separation of the plates is doubled. So initially it was D and now it is 2D. So when the separation will be 2D, the capacitance will change. So let the capacitance will be C dash. Okay, when the separation between them is double. So the capacitance is C dash. Again, we will use the same expression, epsilon naught A upon distance. And what is the distance right now between the plates? It is 2D. So now in place of epsilon naught A upon D, we can easily write C upon T 2. And what is C? C is 1.3 picofarad. So what we can write, 1.3 picofarad divided by 2. So this is what C dash when the separation between them is 2D. Now the second change is that the VEX is inserted between them. Now when the VEX is inserted between them, again the capacitance will change. So let the new capacitance or the final capacitance will be C double dash. Now how much it will be? We know this thing, as the dielectric medium is inserted between the plates, is its capacitance will increase, and how much time it will increase? K into C dash, because right now what is the capacitance? C dash. So what will be C double dash? It will be K C dash. Okay, now what is C dash? We know this thing, C by 2. So that only we have written. So finally what we have, C double dash is equals to K C by 2. But the value of the final capacitance is also given in the equation, and it is how much? 2.6 picofarad. So finally what we have, K C by 2 is equals to 2.6 picofarad. I think this thing is clear. Now we are supposed to calculate K. So we will shift this 2 and C that side. So 2 will go in multiplication with 2.6 picofarad and C will go in denominator. So finally we will have K is equals to 2.6 picofarad into 2 upon C. Now C ka value we already know, it is how much? 1.3 picofarad. So that only we have substituted. So 2.6 upon 1.3 will give you 2. So 2 into 2 will give you 4. So the dielectric constant of the VEX will be how much? It will be 4. So I think the question is clear, and all the numericals that we have discussed today, they all are clear. You try to solve more numericals of this chapter from your reference book, and thank you so much.